back to Daytime Ottawa. There are a lot of people out there who enjoy buying a lottery ticket here or there, playing a game of poker with some friends. But what happens when, the occasional gambling turns into an addiction? Well, here to tell her story is Carla Blacquiere. She's a former gambling addict, and also Gundel Lake is here. She's a counselor with the Amethyst Problem Gambling Program at the Amethyst Women's Addiction Center. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. And especially thank you to you, Carla, for coming here to bravely share your story as well. Can you tell us about how your gambling addiction got started and what happened?
Well, it started off really innocently. I went to the casino with a bunch of friends for a friend's birthday party. We were leaving, and I threw 3 loonies in the machine and got the 3 blazing sevens, won $1,600, and it was like just like that.
And then what happened from there, Carla?
From there, it's like, oh my goodness, it just went into my mind saying, well, easy money, easy way to get some money, and that was the biggest win, and it was downhill from there. I started going every day. It was.
Where did that take you then? And what was the sort of impact on yourself, maybe your family, and professional life?
Well, it had a huge impact on all factors of my life. I was gambling every day. I incurred a huge debt. I ended up losing my job. I lost my relationship, and I lost my house, basically. That's how big it was for me.
Oh.
So it was huge.
So when you lost all of that, I guess that is when when did you decide this has to stop?
Well, when you're gambling, you end up chasing, okay? So you chase the money, you chase the lies, you chase everything. And it just came to a head, and, I couldn't stay ahead of it anymore.
And Gundel, this is probably the type of story you unfortunately hear a lot of. Probably not too excited to hear that we're probably getting a casino here in Ottawa in the future. And we were speaking in the green room before. Most of us just look at the impact on the economy. What's the impact on the greater of society?
Well, there's huge impacts not only to individuals who are gambling, but also families, the rest of the community. In terms of social engagement, for example, and the health not only of those who are gambling, but their family members, their friends. So there's huge ripple effects when we increase access to gambling and consequently to problem gambling also.
Right. So Carla, for yourself then, when did you say I need to get help, and then how did you connect with Amethyst?
Well, I actually didn't say I needed help. I didn't even know I needed help. When it all caught up to me, I had somebody very important in my life, and she said, you need to get help. And they recognized, the people that were in my life recognized that I needed help, and they, directed me, basically. And I walked into the doors at Amethyst, and they really saved my life. I was suicidal at the time, and it was not a good time in my life at all. And they nurtured me back to health.
Yeah, how do you go about, Gundel, doing that?
Well, it's a complex process, but I think the critical piece around Amethyst is safety, and really helping women to notice the places in their life where there isn't safety and helping them to bring safety back into their life. So oftentimes the addiction is just sort of the tip of the iceberg for women. There's many other factors that are at play and that keep encouraging women to reach back into addiction to sort of escape or numb or minimize. And so we try to help, not only behaviorally around the addiction, but the underlying factors as well.
What are some of those factors? Because, the Amethyst Women's Addiction Center is so unique in that it's the very first women's only addiction center in Canada.
Right.
The very first of its kind. So what kinds of things are you tailoring to?
Well, I think the major thing that sets Amethyst apart from other addiction approaches is that we recognize addiction in women's life is connected to the context of their life, and usually the context of women's life includes violence. Oftentimes that's what we notice, and also we make an effort to reach out in other ways and make the connections between a woman's experience of addiction and the way that impacts the community, so their own family and then consequently their family's involvement in the community at large.
Is there a proper way? We heard from Carla that a friend of hers, somebody close to her, approached her that she had a problem and an addiction. Is there a proper way to approach somebody? Because I think a lot of people are nervous or intimidated about doing it.
Right. I think it's important to be honest and direct, but also to do that with compassion.
Right.
You know, because oftentimes around addiction we're a bit confrontational and we think tough love is the way to go. But I think there's a way to get our message across while recognizing that addiction is a struggle. It's not something that people just do to harm other people.
Right.
It's about coping in their own life.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. Carla, thank you for sharing your story, and Gundel, thank you so much for spreading the word on Amethyst as well, in your way as well. Congratulations on all your work, of course, and congratulations on your recovery, Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, coming up next, we are talking about the health and beauty benefits of tea. That's right after this.